Hero winner and present the trophy. Welcome Ray Goy, Principal of Henley College, Coventry.
It was extraordinarily difficult to make a decision, but the upside is it's actually impossible to make a wrong decision given the people that we saw. Anyway, there was only one winner, and that winner this year is Kervin Julian.
He told me that he'd been a drug addict and an alcoholic for 36 years, and he had given it all up and that he was in rehab on it, and he was smoking, but he was trying to give that up as well on it. I met him again outside and at a bus stop and spoke to him again there, and our friendship sort of started from then onwards.
There were some lessons that I'd learned that I wanted to share with some people. And as I started to share that through the people at the rehabilitation centre, I actually found people actually benefiting from it, growing from it, and being encouraged by it, and wanting to improve their life because of it. And as that started to move on, we started to take it to the streets.
If he's sharing what his life experiences with them, people can see part of their lives in him and thinking, well, if he's come this far with the help of God, then why can't I do it? Do you know what I mean? He inspires, he gives hope. Do you know what I mean?
It initially started off in my living room, is where I started buttering the first loaf of bread. And I'd go and buy the ham and stuff myself out of my pockets. That's how we started, and we would then just make up a couple of sandwiches, take them out. We had 2 or 3 people, and as it started to grow, then I can remember it getting up to about 4 loaves of bread, and we were still doing it in our living room. I started to find a lot more people who were like I used to be. And we've just grown since then. We started off with 1 or 2 guys. We now support up to 150 people a week.
They do it in all weathers, not just in the sunshine, in the rain and everything. To see him down there every week with the same enthusiasm and real passion for what he's doing is a great encouragement to everyone involved.
I believe that everybody's purposed and destined to become something. Sometimes we're lost in the confusion of life, in our busyness, concentrating and focusing on ourselves, that we don't always get to see the bigger picture.
We can all take some inspiration from that, I think. Our next category is a brand new category, and we've had a lot of nominations for this, our Volunteer Hero, sponsored by Barclays. Now, we've heard some amazing stories of people who use their life skills and experience to help others in a voluntary capacity. So let's have a look at our 5 finalists.
Bill Blundell helps make life easier for scores of people with multiple sclerosis. He's treasurer of the Mercia MS Therapy Centre in Alderman's Green. The centre offers help such as counselling, yoga, massage, physiotherapy, reflexology, oxygen therapy and acupuncture. Bill became involved in 1987 when his wife, an MS sufferer, was a visitor to the centre, and the person who operated the oxygen therapy chamber left. He has been a volunteer there in one capacity or another ever since. Bill is now aged 87.
Jean Lokes has volunteered at Hill Farm Primary School in Coventry for 20 years, helping with arts and crafts, cookery lessons, assemblies, school concerts. She listens to the children read, helps them learn basic skills that they're going to need for life. Now, she's appeared in many school plays and has become part of the fabric of the school. She spent many of her years as a volunteer working with the school's youngest children, who now regard her as a grandmother figure. Jean is now, and I hope she doesn't mind us saying this, 74.
Bob Simpkins helps children and teenagers who care for sick and sick and disabled relatives. He helps them to get a break and enjoy their childhoods. He volunteers with the Coventry Young Carers Service, driving the minibus full of young carers to an annual 3-day get-together in Southampton, where the youngsters have a chance to enjoy themselves along with others in similar circumstances. Bob is also a regular volunteer helper at the Young Carers meetings, lending a hand with craft days, slumber parties and other activities. Bob has also volunteered with the Scout Association and his church.
Annette Green so impressed hospital consultant Dr. Aresh Anwar with the volunteer work she does with diabetes patients that he nominated her in this category. Now, Annette spends a huge amount of time working unpaid to help people who are newly diagnosed to get used with living with diabetes. She also supports those who have been living with the condition for a long time. The 73-year-old is a patient representative at Warwick University Hospital, which means she talks to trainee doctors and to other healthcare students to give them an insight in what it feels like to be a patient.
Next, let me tell you about Jean and Richard Bartlam. They are the two founders of the local branch of a support group that provides a lifeline for people blinded by a hereditary eye disease called retinitis pigmentosa. The couple have been supporting people with the condition for over 30 years. Jean was diagnosed with the disease at the age of 29. Now aged 62, she and Richard organise a host of fundraising events, including darts marathons, balloon races, supermarket collections, and fancy dress pub crawls, as well as being at the end of the phone to help anybody who needs support.
So let's find out a little bit more about our 5 finalists.
Get into it and you get something out of it. In fact, this 22 years I've been doing it, and since I retired, it's my life now then, if you like. I'm very busy. I feel I'm working, doing more than I was when I was working very hard anyway.
Well, it started off going in for half an hour a week just to help with reading, and then somebody said, would you like to do a bit more? And it progressed from there. And then when my granddaughter started school, I went into the class that she was in, and it went on and on and on. And gradually it got to 2 days, and then 3, and then the full week.
When the Young Carers started in Coventry, they needed people to help out if they organised anything to get the numbers to adults and that. And I just come along and help out, make the numbers up, do artwork, take them on trips.
I think having a volunteer support group is important. People come and they can pass information between themselves and we can point them in the right direction. And I think they're grateful for that they know they can go to a podiatrist or a dietitian and we can tell them where to get that information.
What we actually do, we bring sufferers together, suffering from a rare hereditary eye disease known as RP, and we offer support, we offer advice, but most of all we offer friendship.
Ladies and gentlemen, from Barclays, to present the award, please welcome onto the stage James Wycherley, Site Executive for Barclays at Westwood Park.
Very much. As you've just heard, this is the first year that the Barclays Money Skills Volunteer Hero Award has been presented. We introduced it because we felt that there was a category of people that perhaps weren't being recognised as much as they could be. And having seen the finalists on the boards behind us and heard what they've been doing to help their local community, I hope you'll agree that that was a very worthwhile thing to do, and that any of the people that we've just heard about could have won the award today. However, we do have a winner, and I'm delighted to announce that in this first year, the Barclays Money Skills Award for Volunteer Hero goes to Jean and Richard Bartlam.
run the Coventry and District RP Fighting Blindness branch, and we have done it for over 30 years.
Jean and Richard are the Coventry branch of RP. They give so much support and friendship. If you want to know anything, Jean and Richard have got the answers.
Well, we became involved because in 1976 I was diagnosed with retinitis pigmentosa myself. And obviously I was a young mum of 29. I had a daughter 8 and a son 4. And all I was told that there was no treatment to cure and that I would slowly lose my eyesight.
Jean and Richard had this idea to help other people. And we got together, there were 4 of us at that meeting. And gradually the group has been built up because of the warm friendliness of Jean and Richard.
But obviously we have social events, we do quizzes, we have parties when there's a reason to have a party. We obviously have guest speakers on, specialised subjects or even just fun subjects. We go out for Christmas meals, we have outings.
Summer outings, yeah.
And we also fundraise.
Really special couple because they give friendship and they give encouragement and they give insight into a condition that isn't explained to people properly when they're first diagnosed. They're there at the end of the phone to answer questions. They're there to answer anybody who wants help in that way, and they give a tremendous amount of themselves out to other people.
And it's knowing that there's somebody there who needs you that keeps you going. There's always somebody else, and when somebody comes on and said, thank you, that's more than enough payment. It's, everything makes it worthwhile.
Great couple. Now we've got one final category before lunch, and then you can go and reapply your mascara. Men. This is our healthcare hero, sponsored by Arena Park Shopping Centre, Coventry and Warwickshire, NHS and NHS Coventry. Also, this is a brand new category for this year, and the standard of nominations we received just shows what a wonderful job those who work for the NHS do of taking care of us.
What a brilliant couple, by the way. OK, now let's get on with these amazing nominations. Joanna Lane, get your name right, Joanna, is a staff nurse at Coventry's University Hospital. She spends her days caring for the youngest patients on the very busy children's ward, which includes a 4-bed high dependency unit. Every day brings new challenges for Jo and her team as the babies up to the age of 2 are admitted with a variety of medical, surgical and social problems. It was her compassion for a 2-year-old patient with meningitis that inspired her nomination. The patient's grandfather labelled her as an ambassador for the NHS, going well above the care that anybody could expect.
Helen Allard is a community matron who has impacted on the lives of many people across the city. She has the heart-wrenching task of helping terminally ill patients pass away peacefully and with the dignity they deserve in their own homes. The single mum of 2 is also the main carer for her own ill father and dashes from her day job to make sure that he has a cooked meal in the evening. Helen has developed strong and unforgettable bonds with patients and their families who are at the end of the stages of the diseases and wish to live the remaining time out of hospital.
Margaret Jones uses her own experiences of being diagnosed with breast cancer to help other sufferers in Coventry. She attends various clinics to support patients and staff during the most stressful time, diagnosis. As well as being a practical help to the medical staff, she spends a great deal of her time talking to patients about their feelings and offers advice and help in preparation for their treatment. Margaret says they are frightened and bewildered, but I have been there and I know how they feel and can empathise.
Harriet Fielder works with her dedicated team to treat older patients with conditions ranging from deep depression to high stages of anxiety to acute mental disorders, where patients may need restraining before they can be assessed. Harriet has been praised for her vigilance and care, as well as working extraordinary hours and showing incredible patience. A former patient who spent the best part of a year on her ward says, "I have no hesitation putting Harriet forward as a worthy person to be honoured in the Healthcare Hero category."
Carl Cordes has put aside his own health problems to dedicate much of his life to helping others. The recently promoted assistant manager at Essential Futures has gone above and beyond his job to care for Mark Mulqueen for almost 2 years. Mark is a man with autism and severe learning difficulties. Carl has taken Mark on many outings and given him a holiday, and his dedication is, according to Mark's mum, beyond words. Carl recently underwent a second kidney transplant, which makes his devotion to his caring job all the more remarkable.
So there we have our 5 finalists. Let's see them in action at work.
We deal with many different illnesses, conditions, injuries, everything. So we're constantly changing patients and helping the mums, dads, sisters, whatever, families of them all. So well, you don't just care for the baby.
I've got a caseload now of 40 to 50. I see them when they're coming towards their end of life. And it's about, my role is to manage their condition, their medication, but it's also psychological support for them and the families and prevent them going back into hospital.
I'm there to talk to any patient who needs to talk after diagnosis, or the relatives, friends, anything like that, if they want to talk to anybody. But I've been down that road and I can empathise with what they're going through, and it's just a very stressful time, and if somebody can just talk to them, if that's what they want.
If they see that you're interested, that you listen to them, that you're able to give them reassurance, I mean, I think it makes a world of difference. It's not something, huge, but again, it does make a big difference.
It takes a lot of understanding. You need to, when you come into the service, you need to have a happy, smiling face, because that's how he reads it. If you come into the service with like a sad face or something's happened throughout the day, he will pick up on that and get high anxiety because of that.
From Arena Park Shopping Centre, Administration Manager Lynn Taylor Bond, got there in the end. From Coventry and Warwickshire NHS Partnership Trust, Dr Mike Goldstein, and Vice Chair from NHS Coventry, Darren Jones, they will announce the winner and present the trophy to our healthcare hero.
Of the Healthcare Hero 2010 is Helen Hallard.
My role is about people with long-term conditions. These people come into categories such as people with COPD, which is lung disease, heart disease, diabetes, dementia, Parkinson's. There's multiple, and most of these people have multiple diseases. They don't just have one. It's hard work. The role itself is absolutely, it's exhausting at times because you're on your own. You're making decisions about people's lives, and you're always there for them, and they know that they can call me and I'll stay behind till, even if I work 8 till 4. This week I haven't got home till 6, 7 o'clock because you're there for them all the time.
Oh, well, she's been wonderful, I think. She's sort of encouraged me, and she's helped me. Well, if it hadn't been for Helen, I don't know where I would have been now. Because I'd lost weight. I was down to 5.5 stone, and we're aiming to get to 7 stone before Christmas.
To be honest, I don't think she would be alive if it wasn't for Helen. She was dreadfully ill when Helen came on the scene, and she's worked wonders with her. And she's given her confidence, and as well as the medical help, and she really has been brilliant.
She's kind, she's caring, and she has a brilliant sense of humour, and we all need it. Especially, like I say, Trevor's illness is something that happened out of the blue. Mum's is one that's ongoing.